Hi everyone, it's Emma, and today I'm doing a video that I'm really excited to do. It is my Christmas book haul. I got a lot of books for Christmas. I got mostly books for Christmas, so I have a lot of books to get through, and this is going to be a very, very long video. I'm really excited for all the books that I got. Some of them were ones that I specifically asked for or that I picked out myself, but some of them were ones that I did not. I'm going to try and go quickly through these, but next is a bunch of kind of random books. The first one my brother Will got me, and it's what I'm currently reading right now, and it's a Star Wars book. It's called The Princess, the Scoundrel, and the Farm Boy, and this is written by Alexandra Bracken, who wrote the Darkest Mind series and the Passenger series trilogy, which I haven't read yet. I love this trend that's going on right now with having known authors write old stories, like how Leigh Bardugo is going to do a Wonder Woman book and Sarah J. Maas is going to do the Catwoman book. I'm just so excited for those books, and this is kind of the same thing. It's the Star Wars story, A New Hope. I'm enjoying this a lot so far. I've never read a Star Wars book before, but it is so much fun, and with all the new Star Wars movies coming out, it's just reawoken a love of Star Wars in me. The next one is The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton. This is the 50th anniversary edition, and it is a signed copy. I absolutely love The Outsiders. It is one of my favorite classics ever, and I saw this copy in our local bookstore, and I just flipped out. My brother was with me, so he knew I would love it. The inside has quotes from the book on it. In the back just says, "Stay gold," and I'm absolutely obsessed with it. There's a signature. If you don't know what The Outsiders is about, we follow this kid, Ponyboy, and it's written as if he is writing kind of a report for his school. Ponyboy and his brothers and his friends, they're kind of in this gang. There's a little bit of a gang war going on. The city is really split into two sides, and there's a lot of prejudice and violence going on, and it just is one of my favorite books. I love that it's written by a woman, because when you read it, you really feel like it's written by a man. It's so gritty, and I love authors like that. The next one is Fantastic Beasts screenplay. Another gorgeous, gorgeous addition. The Fantastic Beasts movie I saw a couple weeks ago. I wanted to watch the movie before I read the screenplay. Now I'm excited to read the screenplay because I really enjoyed the movie. I'm pretty sure everyone knows what Fantastic Beasts is, but I'll just give a little summary just in case. We follow Newt Scamander as he comes to New York City. It's in the Wizarding World, but we're not in England, we're in the USA. He has this case of fantastic beasts that gets kind of set loose in the city, and he has to run around and try and catch them all. Newt is just a cinnamon roll. He's like one of the cutest, most precious characters. It's written in screenplay form. It's not written as a book. So I'm excited to have this, even if it's just because it is absolutely beautiful. Next is another one that I'm currently reading. It's Reindeer Boy by Cassandra Clare. No, it's not Cassandra Clare. It's Cassandra Jean. I am a huge fan of Cassandra Jean. I just love her art style. All of her fan art, especially the Raven Boys and the Foxhole Court fan art that she does, just makes me cry. And her Shadowhunter fan art too is really cool. I can't wait for the coloring book that's coming out that she did. This is a graphic novel that she wrote and illustrated. The art is gorgeous. I'm so in love with it. I'm about halfway through, but I didn't want to finish it too quickly because I've been really looking forward to this. But basically, it's about Santa's reindeer, and they start attending this girl's school. Just her interactions with them are really good, and I love the main character. She's so cute and spunky. In the front, there's some colored ones, and yeah, I love it. I just can't get enough of Cassandra Jean. I hope she does 1,000 more graphic novels. I hope she does Shadowhunter graphic novels, because I've heard rumors of that. I'm just loving it. I'm obsessed with it. Next, I have two books from one of my favorite authors ever. The first one I have not read, and it is Shiver by Maggie Stiefvater. I am hesitant to start this series because I know it's not as good as Raven Boys, or the reviews aren't as good. People don't love it as much. I think it's a little bit more typical paranormal romance or YA romance. That's just not really my cup of tea, but it's Maggie Stiefvater. I've never read a Maggie Stiefvater other than The Raven Cycle, which you guys know how much I love The Raven Cycle. So I just have to try another one of her books and see. To be honest, I don't really know what this book is about. I think it has something to do with a boy who is also a wolf and a human girl, and they have some type of relationship, but I really don't know a lot about it, and I prefer to go into it like that. I will hopefully be reading it soon, and I will let you guys know what I think about it. The next thing that I got is something my parents got for me, and I will explain why in a second. But it is The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. This is a signed copy, which I cried when I opened this on Christmas. Like, I actually cried. There were tears in my eyes. Because this is my favorite series, and this is one of my favorite authors, and I just was so excited when I opened it. I have all the Raven Cycle books in hardcover except for the first one, and that just drives me crazy. I'm sure it drives a lot of you crazy too. So I wanted to get the first one in hardcover so that I had them all matching, and so my parents got me this signed one, which just made my heart sing. If you are new to my channel, this is my favorite series. I talk about it constantly, like nonstop. You'll be tired of hearing about it pretty soon, but it is about Blue Sergeant and these boys who she kind of gets pulled into their friend group. It's magical realism, which is one of my new favorite genres. The characters are the best characters. They're so real and three-dimensional to me. I don't know how she does it. And Maggie Stiefvater also just captures this incredible magical feeling. Pretty soon I'm going to do a video that I think I'm going to call Why You Should Read the Raven Cycle. So that's all I'm going to say about that. For Christmas, I got these cards that Maggie Stiefvater illustrated herself, and they're kind of book plates, but she illustrated them herself, and they're all the characters from the Raven Cycle. And they're really cool. It's a little fuzzy because it's raining out today, so the lighting's not very good, but I just really like them. It's so cool that she illustrated them herself because they're kind of canon for what the characters look like. This one in the sunglasses is Kavinsky, which is just really funny. I don't know why. This one's my favorite. All the characters, even Noah's in there, which is really cool. And this is a specific scene from the last book, which just kind of makes me cry. A lot of these next books are favorite books of mine that I didn't have in physical copy for whatever reason, or that I didn't have this edition. The first one is This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab. I read my brother's copy of this. This book is definitely one of my top books of 2016. I loved it so much. This world that Victoria Schwab created is just incredible, and I really enjoy the characters, and it's just such an interesting concept. This is one of Victoria Schwab's YA books. It's her most recent YA book. I had read a couple of her adult fantasy books and not really enjoyed them, but this one gave me the courage to try some of her other books because I was just kind of baffled for why I didn't like Vicious when everybody loves it. So I'm excited that I loved it, and I can't wait to read some of her other books. Next is one of my favorite trilogies ever, Vauxhall Court or the All for the Game series by Nora Sakovic. I read these on my phone in like 3 days. When I opened them on Christmas, I was like, holy crap, look at all the reading I did in 3 days, and I didn't even realize. I'm pretty sure Nora Sakovic self-published these, so you can only get them on Amazon, but the ebooks on iBooks are free, or the first one was free when I got it. I think now they might all be 99 cents. So I just got them on ebook when I first read them. But since it is one of my favorite series now, I wanted them in physical copy, and I just, I love them so much. Normally, I wouldn't like these covers, but for some reason, it just fits the book series. And when I saw this one, I was like, oh, so that's what an Exie racket looks like. Probably going to be seeing 1,000 pictures of them on my Bookstagram pretty soon. Next are some more of my favorite books, or one of my favorite books ever, that I didn't have the right copies for, and it's the Akatar series by Sarah J. Maas. The first one I had in paperback, and the second one I started defacing. I started doing art on the cover and everything, so I really wanted like pristine copies that can stay this way so that when I get the last one they all match, because I'm just crazy like that. Christmas, I had actually forgotten. So when I opened them, it was completely a surprise, even though I picked them out myself. So these are all signed as well, and I just, because I love these books so much. Well, I love this one so much. The first one I love by extension of this one, and I'm going to die when the last book comes out. Next, I'll talk about some books that I actually haven't read so that you guys don't get totally bored. The first one is this little book that my mom got for me. It's called Otherworldly, and it is a collection of words from different languages that English doesn't have a replacement for. They just have these little illustrations inside that are so beautiful, and I really love this book. This one's actually English, but I didn't know about this word. It's Citharism. I think that's how you say it. Citharism. It means the sound of wind through the trees. And then along with that, it has beautiful illustrations. The next book is almost completely just because I'm obsessed with Hamilton. It's Common Sense by Thomas Paine. I've actually read this before because I had to read it for school, but it's pretty hard to read. That's why I have this, because of Hamilton. I already had this and my grandmother didn't realize, but I'm going to show it to you guys anyways because I've never mentioned it before. It's this Hamilton, the Revolution by Lin-Manuel Miranda, obviously, and Jeremy McCarter. It's kind of like a giant behind the scenes book. It has all the lyrics to the show and just really cool like photos inside. There's a really cool one of Jonathan Groff that's kind of my favorite. He played the king for the first time, and if you recognize him, it's probably from Glee. And it has like little notes about Lin-Manuel Miranda writing the show and his thought process and getting there, and it's just really interesting and kind of beautiful and huge. The next two books are ones that my mom found for me because she thought I would like them. She is really good at researching books, so I'm sure that I will. The first one is Black and Blue Magic by Zilpha Keatley Snyder. This was a very popular book, but it went out of print for a while. The people who grew up when this was popular, for them, it was like their Harry Potter. Their character is actually named Harry. On the back it says, Harry was a normal, clumsy 12-year-old boy until he grew wings. And his name is Harry Houdini Marco. And I'm really excited to read it because if it was a different generation's Harry Potter, it must be really interesting. And then the next one, The Crossover by Kwame Alexander. It's actually written in spoken word, I think, which I'm just really loving books that are kind of a different format, like a different style of writing right now, like poetry and graphic novels and stuff. So I'm really excited to read this one, and it's about sports, but it's not actually about sports, which is kind of my obsession right now with sports anime and the Foxhole Court. It's orange, so it must be like the Foxhole Court or Haikyuu. Next is the last book that my brother got me. It's The Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy by Cassandra Clare, Sarah Reese Brennan, Maureen Johnson, and Robin Wasserman. I didn't know there were other authors for this. I just thought it was Cassandra Clare. This is a novella bind-up that I have read most of, except for the last two stories because I saved them for when the physical copy came out. It's about Simon. I won't say really what it's about because it is a spoiler if you haven't read The Mortal Instruments. If you read Lady Midnight and you didn't read this novella bind-up, I would really suggest reading this because it's one of those novella bind-ups that just adds a lot to the books. And also, if you read The Mortal Instruments and you wanted more about Simon's storyline, we follow Simon almost this whole time. Sometimes throughout the novellas, it'll be like a story that a character is telling, so we get to see Tessa and Jem and Will and a lot of other characters come back because they'll be like telling a story or a history lesson. I fangirled so hard. I'm not sure if I've ever fangirled as hard as I did while reading this, and I read them all on my Kindle because they were released as ebooks first. Even though I'm not a fan of these people covers, this is one that I'm okay with. And underneath, it's just like black with the gold like the old covers were. The other thing about this is that Cassandra Jean, who did the Reindeer Boy graphic novel, for each novella she does these comic strips, which is one of the ways that I found out about her. She does a lot of stuff for the Shadowhunter books, but they are just so cool, and that's really the reason why I wanted the physical copy, because it comes with these comic strips in between each novella. The last books were kind of another special present for me that my parents did. They're books I already have, but I don't have these editions. It is all the old covers for the Infernal Devices, and they're all signed by Cassandra Clare. I always liked the old covers for the Infernal Devices, unlike the ones for the Mortal Instruments, and I just kind of never thought I'd be able to get them. But Books of Wonder does stuff like this because it's magical, and they carry them new and signed, these old editions. They have them for all of the Mortal Instruments and all the Infernal Devices, and for a couple other books as well. Cassandra Clare's signature is hilarious. It's like just 2 C's and 2 lines. I love it. I'm just like so happy to have these copies. For me, it's just a collector's thing. I'm a book collector. I just like it, especially because you can't get these very easily anymore. I think that's all the books that I got for Christmas. I'll probably edit this and then a couple days later realize I forgot one. So that is it for this book haul. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please hit the subscribe button. I'm Miss Emma Reads a Lot on all my social media, and I just made a Twitter, so I will link that all down below, and I will see you guys soon with a new video.